My poem's name is I Could Only Hope. That sharp feeling was America, split between us two, losing that trust I once had in you. Saying my name in that not-so-distant tone, never seeming to pick up the phone. I could only hope. Blessed America could be one again, it'd be a miracle from God, amen. They say whites are blacks when they completely ignore the other facts. That without these laws, there's still so many flaws. I can't get my mind off this issue. So much that I cry, and I might need a tissue. Now I only look up towards that clouded sun. The fight still fought one-on-one. Was fated America, pointing a gun. You give me one shot, bang, I'm done. With that eerie sound echoing throughout the hallway, seeming it go on forever and always, giving purpose into the saying of kids' lives mattered, seeming as though the mirror of this reality had already shattered. They keep ignoring all of our demands, and this complication greatly expands. They then given no thought into all these children shot, even when we've seen the critical damage done, something that burdened a family from losing a son. My heart keeps chasing towards the unity you and I long for, but things keep prolonging us to reach that near shore, filled with broken glass to be fixed once more. Going through the troubles of being together, through any time, through any weather. We'll be there for one another in times of need, but now all you think of is your greed. Your insatiable taste for money, but now you laugh like it's funny. The very words spoken to the public as though they were true, but I know what you were saying. They were only lies you told me in virtue, so you keep playing. No actions required, it all makes me so tired. No matter what you say, no matter what you don't do, it won't change the fact of 26 dead students and countless others too. I could only hope for the day we can be together, one for one and one for all. Let's fix this problem with gun control so that no more lives have to fall.
All right. All right, so my poem is called Damaged But Not Fully Yet Broken. Laying in his bed, he forgets he's alive and not dead. Unable to rise, like swimming in the middle of the lake with an anchor tied to your leg, weighing you down. Kicking to come up to the surface is just too hard. Getting more difficult to breathe. The lower he goes, the deeper he's scarred, and is just incapable to succeed. Suffering on his own oversight, he's way too deep to find the light. He goes to work feeling the same as he always does, showing no facial expression. Waking up, looking in the mirror, and not even recognizing the person staring back, but not from the outside, but from the inside. The feeling of being too numb to put a smile on your face, too numb to even fake it sometimes, makes him forget what it was like to be happy. Caring less and less about things he used to love, letting his inner demons corrupt his mind and overthink, leaving him powerless to thought, creativity, and innovation. Leaving his past self, realizing his past self would be a complete stranger to him now, just comprehending the change is so major. For even the devil was once an angel.
Yeah.
All right.
The title of my poem is Good Health and Prosperity. On September 7th of 2001, the roots of a mystical tree were engraved deep within the core of the earth. Each root paved a unique pathway that led to the growth and success of a family that once experienced hardship and adversity. On September 7th of 2001, joy, happiness, and positivity filled the air as though new life was given birth. And the journey for success, good health, and prosperity roamed free. Growing up, being the youngest of 9 kids, I watched my brothers and sisters become victims of systematic barriers and social norms in America. Same application, same age, different answers, but they weren't hired because the applicant before them were Caucasian. Upon reaching success came many obstacles and dead ends. Though the obstacles and dead ends lengthened the journey, that didn't stop any of my siblings from beating the odds to achieve their dreams of becoming future doctors, nurses, and even engineers to make a positive change in the community. Their willingness to work and their ability to persevere through the hardest of times allowed their dreams and aspirations to become nothing but reality. Living in the land of the free and the home of the brave is not the easiest. Yes, you will experience racism. Yes, you will experience discrimination. And yes, you will experience many disparities along the way. But America has really given my family and I the opportunity to grow and prosper, despite the problems we face because of our differences. And despite of the many sacrifices my parents have made in their homeland to better our lives. Thank you.
All right. Poems about racism. I scream and shout for release. Just because I'm different doesn't mean I'm not human. It isn't my fault that I don't speak like you. It isn't my fault that I was brought up with the tongue of Africa. It isn't my fault that I was made different than you. It isn't my fault that I breathe in and breathe out Nigeria. It isn't my fault that I was brought up with the sweet melody of Africa. The beat of the drum is the beat of my heart. It isn't my fault that you don't like me. It isn't my fault that you treat my people like they don't matter. It isn't my fault that you think white means freedom and black means slavery. It isn't my fault that you think that black lives don't matter. For which I am saying we are the same. Just because we have different cultures, skin color, religion, doesn't mean we should resent each other. We are one and meant to live as one. Thank you.
Let me tell you, I am Asian, I think, because supposedly we're all smart, athletic, future doctors, and by the way, what is a karate kick? Yes, I'm Asian, now stop saying hi Nilan. That's not my name. Yes, I'm Asian, but I don't stand with the A+, but for average. To be honest with you, my grammar can save my own life. Not all of us have the brain, so we must get creative if we desire what's on top. Sometimes I wonder, why do people think the Asians are the model minority? Half of our parents didn't even graduate from first grade. I get triggered whenever I hear the Asian jokes being thrown across the classroom. Those jokes are old, please leave them in 2010. Your Asian neighbor could be a doctor, don't mean my family is. And definitely, I'm not planning to be a lawyer. Sorry to disappoint the whole Asian out there. Not being good at piano doesn't mean I'm not Asian. MVP in sport doesn't mean I spark like them. Me stepping in the school ground don't mean, hey, ask me about your calculus homework.
I can't even help myself. I'm struggling. By the way, I definitely don't know this Asian next to me. I'm not Chinese, Japanese, definitely not Korean. I'm Hmong, and no, I'm not going to teach you how to curse in it. There's Google Translate for that. I don't eat your cats and dogs. That's kind of gross. But I do eat rice every day. By the way, it's pronounced pho, not pho. We are not your linglings. We are not your ching chongs. We are so more than sushi. So much more than your Chinese food. And more than your anime. I don't even know the main character from Dragon Ball Z. Is it Goku or Cuckoo? But let me tell you about the Asians. Let me tell you about the diversity with over 48 countries. Let me tell you about the more than 2,000 languages that are being spoken. So your speak English is a really nice way to show off your ignorance. And mind if I tell you, is she your sister while connecting me to another Asian makes you sound very uneducated?
Hey, it's a wake-up call from your Asian. Not English. English is not the only language are being spoken in the world.
We're not smart because we're Asian. We worked as hard or even harder than anyone else to be in the position that we are. So saying, just because you're Asian doesn't justify our dedication. We are humans with feelings, fears, and opinions. We want our voices to be heard too. We're out here existing, living, breathing the same air as you. We are more than statistics, stereotypes, labels, and numbers. So I've told you.
All right. So my poem is called Through My Eyes. America, the land of the free and home of the brave. This is what America is known to be, as if it were a land of fantasy and a typical happily ever after. Instead, through my eyes, I see nothing remotely close to the iconic America every immigrant had hoped for, as they fled their motherland to escape the tragedies that occurred during their everyday lives, from gunshots in broad daylight to the midnight reapers waiting to take the lives of the innocent. Immigrants crossed rivers, climbed walls, and overcame any obstacle in their way to give their children a better life, only to see their people living enslaved and being manipulated like puppets by the depraved government. Now, don't get me wrong, I appreciate the effort that my parents put in for this country, yet their work and dedication is unvalued as if they were a grain of sand from the quintillions on the beach in which millionaires step upon during their vacations, not caring what stands below them while free of worries, living life happily. Through my eyes, I witnessed what America is unable to see of its quote-unquote democracy. They cover up the truth by promising human rights while they separate families, engraving into their minds that they're unwelcome into this land in which Americans claim to be their own. Their own? They stole it from the natives who had been walking on it for centuries, only to be pushed back into reservations. There's no happiness with all these heartbreaking events that affected all our previous generations. May we remember especially the recent crisis from the past 2 years. The day the 45th took office, which many had feared. Those who just tried to enjoy a concert, only to be shot down by a monster. The bullets hitting the backs of students as they ran in despair, hitting the ground thinking it's not fair. There is so much more to say, but I cannot continue down this pathway. Now you must see with your own eyes the reality of America. You must face the truth, and it's something that cannot be soothed. Now join me in this journey to make this country a better place by closing down this case and making America after it should be.
Yes, sir.
Alright, so my poem's called Where Do I Start? Inequality, the long road of America. It all starts with discrimination. So, where do I start? Well, first of all, there's racism. You see every day. It could be as small as someone thinking they look different than me, or something as big as our nation's leader. It's weird seeing our country being dictated by a reality TV host. All he does is pose. Race should describe where we came from and who we are, not a reason to put us behind bars, with the children watching from afar. The Lord knows all, but does he know we're going to fall? Where do I start? Where do I start? Alongside with racism, there's sexism, the demon need and the exorcism. You look down the street and you see it, something our president refuses to admit. Pleading for equal rights, only to be covered up by political fights. Where do I start? Where do I start? Where do I start? Continuing with this trend, what about the discrimination between social classes, seeing as how some people get away with free passes, while the rest of us has to work, and then the Republicans go berserk. Money doesn't buy peace of mind, but it should be used to fix mankind. The truth gets manipulated by the media, while I'm left saying, see you. Some people pray for a paradise, others just criticize. But one's paradise could be another's hell, we just need to listen to the chimes of the Liberty Bell. Where do I start with this world? Where do I start with all this? Where do I start? Equality is about treating each other as human beings. This will give us a chance to create new beginnings. The final question is, where do we finish?
So the name of my poem is called Safe Place. Sexual assault was a thing I thought happened in the streets. Who knew it happened in a place I felt at peace. He was someone whom I could wholeheartedly trust, but he betrayed that with his lust. He told me he had my back, but instead he tried laying me on my back, disrupting my sleep with his curious hands. I was afraid because he had the strength of a man. I could feel his fingers touch my body as if testing the waters. Being awake made me feel like I was drowning underwater. Unable to move, unable to breathe, I felt paralyzed, wondering if this was something he had fantasized. He thought I wouldn't be aware of his dirty deed, but he didn't succeed. He left me feeling paranoid and unable to sleep, scared at the thought that he'd come back and creep. I am no longer scared, and I have come to realize I'm not alone, as I have 2 loving parents and siblings to protect me. It has been reported that 48% of cases occurred while sleeping, and 7 out of 10 predators were an acquaintance to the victim. So find people with whom you can feel safe, as sometimes home can't be that place.
So my poem is called Blue, and I actually want to give a background as to why I chose the color. Blue is usually associated as like a sad color, and I feel like in my poem I described that in the beginning, but towards the end you could see that my mindset changed, describing the color basically. Drip, drip, drip. Lights, bright, hold on to me tight. Tight enough to breathe out till I have no words. When the colors turn into words, yellow, pink, lilac, and blue. Oh, so blue. The sadness pouring out of my eyes because of all of the lies. Blue where my eyes hurt and my throat stays stuck on the same word. Because the only thing I can think about are my curves. The curves I got from my father's family, and maybe they all don't miss me because maybe once he left to a better place, they forgot all the love he gave. My face, similar to his, I make lists. All the things I got from him as he was taken away. All these emotions caving in my brain, making the roof crumble. I remember with all the feelings we came with, numbing them till they went away. Funny, isn't it? When we felt so much as a child, we were vibrant, but now we're crying so much we slip into the blues. I've learned to pour myself out onto these sheets, hoping that it heals me because my heart contains water and I'm breaking it open to feed these flowers. As I'm tumbling into a blue, my eyes feasting when I look outside, all I can hear are the drips drop as I rise. I can see the blue sky shining bright from the sunlight, feeling the warmth of it holding onto me tight. The flowers inside me grew strong and bright, filling me up, my recess of heart. The storm has ended. I adjust to the yellow, pink, lilac, and oh, blue, so blue. The color that allowed me to turn it into words, I pour it out onto paper. Blue that feels right, the blue I see when I feel free and at ease, and I'm finally at peace.
All right.
Our poem is called Empty Nest. I remember the songs only my mom and I sang on going down I-70. Songs of colors, letters, hymns, and even sometimes my name. The car ride bursted with cheerful tunes I didn't want to be seatbelted and flew out the car. My dad and I sang on our own time too, but with the wrong pitches being hit and the different keys locked in the incorrect parts. We sang with passion and joy. I love nothing more than hearing the laughters of my parents. My mom's laugh like calming beach waves in Bora Bora, and my dad's laugh like the roar of a ferocious lion ruling over its pack. There's nothing more that makes my heart ache as much as when I see sorrowful tears run down their cheeks. The aroma of steamed rice, baked pork, and freshly cut watermelon chase my nose. Every day, my dad makes sure that there's food on the table before my mom gets home. He greets her with a big hug as soon as her foot steps inside the house, her smile reaching ear to ear. I'm sorry I don't say I love you enough. Both my parents are busy people, but the fact that they'll make time for me is something my brain can barely grasp. My dad, he's loyal, loving, humble, and will never ever say no to me. My mom, she's generous, loyal, strong, and understanding. Thank you both for being my role models, teachers, doctors, chefs, and friends.
My family is what keeps me alive. That's why when I see them, my mind floods with memories of when I was a worry-free kid, surrounded by unconditional love. I am one of billions of possibilities of birth, and out of those, I came to you. It's sometimes hard to put what I like to say into words, but always know your thought that the distance between us is what keeps us miles apart. I wouldn't know what I have to believe, but I can think what I have to say. I always wanted to have a little sister, and now I do. I've always liked the trips you've taken me to. I like the way you see me as your John, Manny, or even Francis. Mom, I don't know how did you support me all these years, but I know I wouldn't. Mom, remember I got jealous of my brothers hugging you? Now that I look back at it, I miss your hugs and kisses. Therefore, I thank you for all the mornings I woke up with you. All the picadas, tortas mojadas, pozole with carnitas rellenas you made for me. And I'm still not grateful. And I still think that I'm not good enough for you. And you still tell your mom that why did she bring you to this planet?
The seed you planted 17 years ago in your womb is getting ready to flourish. With all the love, care, and warmth, it surely has become nourished. Mamá y papá, no hay palabras para expresar lo que siento. Decir que sin ustedes mi mundo se caería y en eso no miento. The greatest treasure God has given me is the privilege to call you my parents, so from the bottom of my heart, I say thank you for all your merits. Papá, a la vista de ser nacido y desmayarte me hace reír. Un día grande para mí debido a que yo fui escogida para ser la hija de usted y eso me hace sonreír. My purpose is to make your sacrifice and tough journey to the land of opportunity worthwhile. We may not always be on good terms, but you'll always be someone I admire. Mamá, mi mejor amiga y la quien más admiro, te miro y un mundo lleno de paz, confianza y amor me vuelven un giro. If I could paint the night sky, you'd be my brightest star. One day I hope to be at least half the mother and person you are. Growing each and every day, I'm proud I get to say that I'm your daughter.
As a kid, I would have never imagined being here today. My parents came from the homeland in search for a dream promise, wanting to live a modest life. My brothers and I always trying to be the best son. But I know I ain't a perfect child. I'm sorry for those days you had to bear with me when I was scared of the dark, taking up all the room on the bed, asking how do I sleep. I'm sorry for those days I'd get mad at you, even though I ate all the candy, the Skittles, trying to taste the rainbow. I'm sorry when I would lie to you, how I feel, where I am sometimes, knowing it would disappoint you. It hurts knowing I'm growing up, but I'm not gonna blow up, because I got built up. The egg that was once nested is now ready to soar because of you.
I didn't give my poem a name, but it's about Duncan Strauss, and I think that's a really big issue we're dealing with right now. We hide from reality and only see fantasy. Lead fills the sky, but we choose to be ignorant. Shootings are frequent. We gave it a season. We're dying for no good reason. The Second Amendment on the Constitution pushes aside any solution. Like cowards, we pass the blame, but that only feeds the flame. And as it swallows us, it shows us true pain. Pain we will never forget. Pain that turns us insane. Pain that breaks our spirit. As the pain grew, so did the hatred. And now we pay the price. Not with gold, not with cash, but with our lives. Ask Las Vegas, he would tell you all about it. He was stained with the blood of 58 people. Even the youth take part of the punishment. 10 were killed in 10 were killed in Texas. But that's all we say. 10 dead. We don't even bother listening to names. And we still think everything's alright. And what does that make us? We do nothing to better our situation, and we rather hold a handgun than show any compassion.
The name of my poem is We Live in a Country. We live in a country where classrooms are filled with the sounds of terror instead of the sounds of learning. We live in a country where hallways echoes with the ringing of gunshots instead of the ringing of bells. We live in a country where children are mourning at playgrounds instead of laughing at them. We live in a country where the hardest decision for our leaders is whether guns or human lives are more important. We live in a country where I am more concerned with surviving till next semester than passing it. Because this is the country we live in. Why?
Alright, my poem is called Her. I met this girl when I was 12 years old, and what I loved most, she got so much soul. She said, I know you don't know me, but my name is Beauty and I hide my insecurities, my confidence on display, but never much of a surety. And from that day on, we were always close. Took me around town just to see all the shows. She accepted me for who I was, never blew me off. So proud of her, always liked to show her off. Challenged me because she knew I was soft. But as we grew up, she got so cold on me. Her impurities clouded her. It felt like she drove on me. She said, hey, maybe you should keep away from me. I knew that she got us figured out all wrong. She don't know what she got till it's all gone. I said to her, there's no one like you. People come around life, they want to be like me, just not you. And I just got through thinking nothing really matters. I just want you. Just give me your hand and we can start something new. Thank you.
My poem is named Dorothy, and my childhood is the smell of lavenders, love, and laughter. It is the sound of beetles, glee, and grapes, the feeling of rainy April showers that make you want to stay in all day. My childhood is my grandmother. I remember her hugs, kisses, and birthday wishes. I remember her beautiful smile even through times of distress. The smile she would put on for her favorite children, her grandchildren. A selfless woman with a heart full of love. I remember Dorothy Carey Ross. Thank you.
Hello. The title of our poem is Identity Crisis.
What are you? Is the facial expression that most people have when they look at me. People stare at me as if I were a painting. Everyone is living their life and just minding their business. But when they see something odd, they automatically start staring. I'm like a blue flower in the middle of red roses. Just there, but no one quite understands why. Still struggling to fit in, always being judged, always being looked at. It never stops, like a never-ending cycle. Yes, I'm Mexican. So what? Is there a problem with that? Is a question I ask myself so many times. I didn't choose my ethnicity. It's not my fault. I'm just as innocent as everyone else. So why judge me? I did nothing wrong. People confuse my ethnicity because of the color of my skin. They say, oh, you're white, and I respond, no, I'm Mexican. And I always catch a surprised-looking face when I speak Spanish. It all started at such a young age. I never really cared, never really understood. But I always asked myself why certain kids in my life would call me names. I didn't find it funny, so why did they? I tried to ignore them and continue with my life until I finally understood. I'm not the problem, they are. What are you?
I'm the product of the lightest and the darkest colors on a paint palette meeting in the middle. The past would say I'm contaminated. Most of the present says I'm perfectly illustrated. People like me are praised and raised on a pedestal for being unique. But when I'm out at Walmart with my mom, others don't know what to think. I guess I can't blame them. I mean, it's such an odd pair, an Asian woman with a brown kid that has a head full of curly hair. But I should be able to be biracial and not have to choose a race, especially when filling out papers and having to choose the one that matches the color of my face. You see, it's such a frustration because my daddy's black and my mom is Asian. People say I sound too white to be black and too light that I lack the struggle of a person of color. A struggle that I lack is being called a mutt and having my parents separated and put into jail, and for what? It was all for Robert and Mildred loving one another. I am thankful for the loving family, but it doesn't end there, because any type of discrimination in history plays a one-on-one game of tag with society for centuries. I am proud of my parents' love for one another, and the blessings they received from their mothers. I now know who I am. I'm a person of two contrasting colors.
What are you?
Is a question I receive often. People don't know what I am. Even I didn't know what I was. As simple as it sounded, I didn't know the answer to that question. Like, what was I? I know I wasn't like everyone in my classroom. I know I wasn't fully Mexican, but that's what I identified myself as. I would tell others I was Mexican and they wouldn't believe me. They would say I was too pale or too white, or that my culture did not match my skin tone. My hair was brown and so were my eyes. How did my characteristics not qualify? I was confused. How did someone look Mexican? Was I supposed to look like a plate of frijoles with a tortilla de maíz on the side? Like pan dulce con una taza de chocolate abuelita? As a child, I spoke two languages, something not very many people knew. I was afraid to speak, afraid to be questioned. How could I explain I was Mexican when my appearance couldn't prove it? Now I can say I'm proud to identify myself as a Mexican American. Proud to say I grew up in un rancho where we grew our own crops. Spent my night in la cancha playing soccer and treating others while eating papitas con salsa valentina y un jugo fruxi. It's those memories that make me proud to say where I come from, not freeing what others have to say about me and my color. Now when they ask, what are you? This question won't turn me down. It'll push me to say, soy mexicana hasta la muerte very proudly.
It's all around me.
I'm not the only one.
I'm not alone.
It doesn't make it better, but together we can pick each other up.
Durango Gomez Palacio, a beautiful place that my parents, two siblings, and I left to come and pursue el sueño americano. Being beat, almost dying in the hot desert, being caught, fue lo que mis padres arriesgaron to get me to el lado americano, to give me a better education, to better prepararnos, para darnos una mejor vida, the life that they didn't have, the life that they wish they had. Their lives are very similar to other Hispanics, barely making it past middle school and leaving their dreams behind, to cross the border and give their children better lives, to let them have a better education that they could have, only to get to el otro lado and realize that they're running the risk of being deportados and ser separados from the children that are más amados. El sueño americano, the dream that isn't what it seems. Parents sending the children to school and wondering if they'll make it home with their team, also known as a family. While I sit in class, all I can think of is what my parents have done to get me here, and how I fear that La Migra can take my parents and basically my life away from me, because I'm another immigrant that is pursuing the American dream. And it breaks my heart that in a single moment, everything can turn into a tragedy. We only came to the lado americano to come try and live the life that is full of opportunities. We come from a foreign country that is full of difficulties. Por eso les quiero agradecer a mis padres por darme todo y arriesgar todo por mí. Si no fuera por sus esfuerzos, yo no estuviera aquí. I'm going to be that kid that takes those opportunities and makes his family muy feliz.
So my poem's name is Water That Hydrates the Joy of Another. I am a fountain, one with the cover, hard for one to discover, the tears, the pain, the river over my veins that once caused me to stutter. I am a fountain, one that entertains people. Power drains from me, water that hydrates the joy of another. I feel bad for disappointing, I can hardly focus. I'd rather feel anything other than this pressure. Where do I throw my penny? Where do I go to make my wish? All I can do now is roll my eyes because you can spend a lifetime building an image, but a single action can make it diminish. Thank you.
All right. KOD, which stands for Kids on Drugs, and it was inspired by this song, KOD by J. Cole. I smoke the drug, it runs through my veins. I think it's working, it's numbing the pain. I envelope in the shadows, staying in my hive. I'm popping a pill, I'm feeling alive. The struggles I face, they seem to stay. There's nothing that will make them all just go away. I shoot the poison after I pull the strap, and I begin to feel goosebumps going down my back. People in media keep normalizing drugs. People like adults, teens, victims, and thugs. The white powder you see is a misconception. The drug is mainly affecting the adolescent. Many, many times, innocent lives has been taken. And for what? A drug that cannot be shaken? Withdrawal is what they have when they don't use it. The drug is used so many times they seem to abuse it. Why are they so addicted to this remedy? It's killing them from the inside out. Please understand me. Their life is not worth this drug. It's affecting them as if it's some kind of bug. These materialistic things don't seem to spread. Trust me, there's other ways to go where you won't wind up dead. This is real life, and it ain't no game. Drugs are bad, and they don't give you fame.
My poem is called Two Worlds That I See. The world before me is so full of doubts. People tend to keep their heads high up in the clouds. But when they look down, they'll see what I see. This world can be cruel, not the way it should be. But I have my own little world, up in my head. It's a calm place with words that cannot be said. I put it on paper, and there it stays. I put only the strongest memories, so they last the rest of my days. I use a pencil to draw what I see. The only feeling I feel is the feeling of being free. I want my art to appeal to the world, not just a couple people, but every boy and girl. The world around us can never compare to the one I have in my mind that I wish I could share.
The title of our poem is Express and Be Free. The feeling of being trapped inside my own world, not being able to say the words I want to say. The thought of not knowing why I'm here today and seeing myself trapped.
Why can't I make sense of the words I want to speak out? Why do I always feel like I can't make my way out? You might be smarter than me, more creative than me, but what's the difference? We're both still human. Hate the thought that's going on in my brain when I try to explain. It's so hard, but what could I gain?
Thoughts of being underwater and hard to breathe. The feeling of being blue, being glued to my emotions, trying to let it all out. Wanting to get rid of the dark and emptiness, but why can't I? These thoughts are drowning me every day, temporary happiness, fake and smile on my face. Memories I have to erase. Afraid to stand up, getting my feelings all mixed up. Can I really speak up?
Being lost in my own mind, but still I'll continue to remind myself that I am strong and beautiful, capable of expressing my emotion and working my way out. Forever I'll be the daughter who works hard to have a future and be who I am. Express myself and be free. Thank you.
Education, you educate the world, you help us assess. There are times when we dislike you, times when we enjoy learning about you, but you never let us down. You wait until we fully understand the problem. When we do fully understand the problem, you stay with us until the end. Something you do is make us intelligent and finish our school until we do something good. You help make our future a dream come true. That dream come true is what opens the golden door of freedom. The golden door is what makes our lives transform. The transformation comes from working hard and succeeding. That makes our future. Thank you.
So my poem's titled Young Black Man. I am a young black man who sees reality through a distorted lens. I hear racist jokes from my friends while being told it's just comedic satire. I'm sick of hearing, do you play basketball? Or what's your fried chicken recipe? And worst of all, what's the mixtape dropping? Because sure, I have a decent flow and solid bars, but that's not what I have my mind set to. I see people who are jealous of my skin, yet too afraid to step into my shoes, that is. For I am a young black man, who pretends that I'm not judged the moment I enter a room. Pretending I don't have to hide from the awkward laughs and nervous looks. Pretending I'm no different than my peers, but obviously that's not the case. And I cry when people are shot by cops who are too afraid to approach us, yet brave enough to shoot. But as a young black man, I understand people are scared of me because of the hateful images that were created to shackle my people. I'm sick of trying to hide my emotions and my opinions. I was just another angry black man. And I say that even though I have brown skin, I still bleed red blood. And even if you don't believe me, then ask Trayvon Martin what his blood looked like when he got shot for breaking the worst law in America, being black in public. For you see, I dream of a world where everybody is blind so skin color won't matter. Or rather, everyone have a transcending sight to look past my skin to the depths of my soul.
But until then, I'll keep hoping for a change. Signed, your average everyday young black man.
All right.
So mine doesn't really have a title, and it's kind of sad, so trigger warning. But yeah, here we go. There lives a 12-year-old girl, insecure of herself, no confidence in who she is, the perfect target. And although her abuse is rarely physical, school is her own personal war zone, a gift given to her from 8 to 3, Monday through Friday. And they say that stupid rhyme, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. But they were wrong. Words do hurt. Her confidence a wall and their words a boulder cracked down until she lost herself. And she fell into depression. Depression, an ever-going hole she can't seem to crawl out of, she sinks further into a sunken place. This torture continues for 1,000 days, 87,000 minutes, and 5 million seconds. Seconds, she doesn't feel like breathing anymore. Society has convinced her that life is not worth it. Depression and anxiety, her only true friends. And then she snaps. Her new best friend, a cold piece of stainless steel, gently gliding against her forearm, a red-shot horizontal masterpiece created by herself, temporarily relieving the pain. Months go on, and she decides enough is enough. Life is too tough for her to go on. She walks to her bedroom, crying in desperation, slitting what areas that aren't already damaged. She looks in the mirror and sees no one, her stomach in a knot, her emotions a ticking time bomb, and her heart a delicate piece of glass. She slices and the red river rushes, but she stops as she remembers. She remembers her family, her little brother especially, and how her life means so much to the people around her. So she puts the blade down, waterfalls of salt rushing from her eyes as she cries. This time she didn't take her life. She walks back to her bedroom, acting if nothing happened, continuing on to the next day, her regularly scheduled program. Thank you.